Welcome back to the Behind the Print podcast, where we feature industry leaders and uncover the creative minds and their businesses within the world of professional printing. Our mission is to provide you with inspiring, actionable resources that elevate your business projects and accelerate your journey to excellence in profit and in print. Today's episode is Real Estate for a Cause, and joining me here today are the owners of McConnell Real Estate Partners, Josh and Jen McConnell. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. If you guys are ready, let's dive right in. Sound good?
Perfect.
It's good.
So, what can you tell me about the people who buy property from the McConnell Real Estate Partners?
Well, they love the outdoors. We're in Charleston, South Carolina. So we are right on the coast. So a lot of outdoor living here, golf, surf, tennis, pickleball, anything you want to do outdoors, boating, it's all here. So that's the majority of people who live in Charleston want that resort lifestyle every day of the year.
Warm climate with 4 seasons. Like a lot of people relocate here for that. It's a really mild climate, but nice most of the year.
Nice. What are the biggest challenges in selling a property?
So it's a loaded question. We're actually on an island, a barrier island right outside of Charleston. So we have a lot of second homes here. So not necessarily barriers to purchase necessarily, but just definitely knowing the market and knowing who your buyers are is something that you really have to kind of live here and understand that not everyone's coming here to live here for the rest of their life. They're coming here to invest, right? So that's a different animal than just someone who's buying a home to live in.
It's a diverse market. And also I think, just coming from other areas, I think some people have an expectation of South Carolina being super cheap. And there's parts of South Carolina that are, but not on the coast. The coast is a pretty popular spot.
Yeah, I can imagine, not just in South Carolina, but anywhere on the coast, you probably have a pretty expensive market. And I also imagine you got a lot of people from up north coming down there to spend the winters.
Exactly.
For
Yeah.
sure.
People come for a vacation and then they end up falling in love and they want to stay. And some of them don't even go back. They're like, I'll just have someone pack up my stuff and send it down because they love it so much. But it's definitely a unique place to live and a beautiful place to live for sure.
Can you tell me about the most influential marketing strategy in buying and selling properties?
Good.
The most influential marketing strategy in buying and selling properties. I think staying like we work really hard to put ourselves in places that others aren't. So I think there's a lot of print material here, like local newspapers and everything, where you'll see more ads for realtors than you see stories. And we really try to avoid that and get a little bit more creative with it, which is where Print Center comes in because we've done, the bifolds with the newsletter. We do magazines that we send individually to people. So then we're one of one in their box versus one of 17 in their box. So I think just trying to be creative and stay different, I guess, than what everybody else is doing on different platforms.
I understand that the McConnell Real Estate Partners runs the McConnell Foundation charity auction. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Sure. So we founded the McConnell Foundation in 2021. So our son had cancer when he was 5 months old and cured by 10 months old. And so after that, we had, all of our clients knew, of course, and so we started donating a portion of all the proceeds from each transaction that we made at our brokerage to the hospital where our son was treated, and specifically to the pediatric cancer research lab there. And so our clients just became very involved in that and loved that we were doing check presentations for $25,000, $50,000 just from our brokerage. And then our clients ended up just giving us money. Well, here we want to give as much as we can. Here's what, so writing us checks to give to the hospital. We're like, oh, no, we can't take your money like that. It's not legal. So they were like, all right, there's just something that we can do so much more. We have such a good support system here in Charleston. We know that we can do better. And we promised God in the hospital, if our son made it, we will do whatever we can to help other kids. So we officially formed a McConnell Foundation in 2021, specifically to raise funds for pediatric cancer research at the Medical University of South Carolina. And so each year, by doing that, what we do is we throw a black tie gala on Isle of Palms out at the Wild Dunes Resort. And again, 100% of the proceeds go to our son's oncologist lab. So we host that every year.
So is it just clients participating in this auction, or is it like open to everyone?
It's open to everyone. So we actually have a majority is our people on the islands or just in Charleston in general who attend. A lot of people stay overnight and make it a weekend. It's a beautiful oceanfront resort that we have it at. So yeah, we have a tremendous support from our clients, but it's open to the public.
It's getting bigger each year.
Yeah. So this year we broke our $100,000 mark for our donation. So this year we raised $100,000, which was pretty huge.
Wow, congratulations. That's impressive. What sort of items are up for sale at the auction?
We have everything from trips, international trips, to local staycations, because of course Charleston's such a popular destination. So we have local staycations as well, to diamond jewelry, to pickleball, 6-month lessons, to a wine membership.
Concerts at
Yeah,
the local spot here.
unlimited year pass for every concert at the Windjammer, which is a local like beach bar here on Isle of Palms. We have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
It's
We
a mix
have
of local. We have international trips,
Mhm.
like, so it's a mix.
Yeah,
You know,
we
so
have some
just
really fun.
about everything. And
Yes.
congratulations again on making, what was it, $100,000 donation?
So yes, so this year we raised $100,000, and so our total is just right around $275,000 that we've raised for the pediatric oncology lab at MUSC.
And then
Congratulations.
Thank you.
the brokerage has done another
Yeah, and then our
70.
since we donate, we started out just donating through our brokerage from proceeds from transactions. We've done another 100 from our brokerage, I think.
140
So,
from the brokerage, and then now the brokerage kind of goes through the foundation,
mhm.
but yeah, it's kind of become its own animal, which has been nice.
Yeah.
How do you stand out from other real estate agencies in your field?
So we are pretty particular on how we present ourselves as far as branding is concerned in the market. We certainly are a boutique brokerage and we want to relay that in all of our marketing, whether it's print or online. And so we just take everything to make sure that it's elevated, and specifically like our print materials that we use. I had you guys send me samples before I printed anything because I wanted to voucher and make sure that I vetted you guys and everything was up to our standards, because we're pretty particular. I mean, I'm a marketing background, and so I have very specific ideas of what I'd like to do. And you guys have come through. We've used you guys probably, I mean, well before we even formed our brokerage. So
7 years, 8
yeah,
years. Yeah.
yes, exclusively. So we've been thrilled with all the print marketing materials we've been able to get through Printing Center. And one specifically is our magazine. This is kind of what we started out with.
Great.
This was like 7 years ago, and it's beautiful, very nice, with the spine. And then we just updated our magazines to more of a matte finish to literally look like a magazine you'd find on a coffee table. So these are just the next level, and we're thrilled with them. They're gorgeous. No one's doing this. I mean, this is a buyer's and seller's guide. It has information about our foundation in here, and our moving truck. So just everything is very elevated with our brand, and Printing Center USA has definitely helped us do that on the magazine side and other print material that we've done. So we're thrilled. And I think that that's just how we differentiate ourselves. And it's not just with their magazine. So we show up with this to a listing presentation along with our bound books that we do for our listings. And, not many people really invest in things like this. They might have like a printout from just their regular printer, which is totally fine. But to show that you're a luxury agent and show up with a magazine of this caliber, and then also our marketing that we do when we list a home is pretty far above what a lot of people do.
We very much appreciate you printing with us. And that also ties into my next question. And you did already just partially answer this, but how has print helped elevate your business?
Yes, I think, a big piece of our business, I mean, so a big piece is past clients and referrals is 80%, but for that 20% that don't know us, a lot of times it's people vacationing down here, or they come across us in a house, or they see the magazine there, or the grocery store, or our moving truck that's kind of parked center of the island. So then when they call us, they don't know anything about us. And I think showing up with our, printing center material really kind of validates it at first, because there's a lot of different versions of real estate agents, because there's not a huge barrier to entry to the industry. And I think, when we show up with our material, with particularly our print material as an introduction to ourselves, it immediately puts them at ease that, like, okay, we're working with professionals. They're not new to the business.
Right.
They know what they're talking about, and we're hyper local with it on the island. So a lot of it's island specific, but I think it's an instant kind of validation for folks that are just meeting us for the first time.
Yeah, one more step above just being digital. It's more
Mhm.
permanent, I think.
Right.
So next question, what major milestones or projects have defined the McConnell Real Estate Partners?
That's a great question.
What major milestones, or what was the rest of the question?
Milestones, projects, accomplishments, anything like that.
I mean, I think a first step was, I mean, we moved from the team of both of us being full-time with the team to our own brokerage. I mean, that was a pretty big milestone and a pretty big jump, but something that we always had as part of our plan was to make our own brokerage, and then really just establishing ourselves, in the home market as well. Like it's a competitive market in Charleston in general, but really differentiating ourselves on the marketing side to get the opportunities to then showcase the service level that then is able to develop a business that runs on its own database. So, and that's really what ours has become. I think I mentioned earlier that, 80+% of our business is repeat and past client. And so we wouldn't get that opportunity without differentiating ourselves on the marketing front first for that 20%.
Can you tell me about any challenges or obstacles that are holding you back right now?
I mean, the market itself is more challenging than in years
Yeah.
past. I mean, to go from a 2.5% interest rate to 7% was unprecedented and definitely a shock to kind of get everything back in balance. So now really this is the first time in 6 years we're back to a balanced market, but it almost feels weird because it was crazy there for a few years, but it was, I think the reset of the past couple of years and getting through it has just been, that's been a challenge in and of itself as the market comes back to normal.
Yeah, it sounds like it from 2 to, what was it, 7%? That's quite the jump.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's hard for somebody, sitting at a mid twos to go to a 7.75. So now we're
Mhm.
back in the fives and where people are able to make decisions now.
So, sort of a different question for you here. If you had a day completely free to spend however you'd like, how would you spend it?
Oh, that's a great question. I really like your questions. So we live at the beach, right? So we would like go watch sunrise at the beach with the kids, let them run around. I'm assuming they need to go to school, so they would probably have to go to school. We would probably work the morning shift and then probably do lunch at the beach and then tennis. I play tennis a lot. The kids and Josh do jujitsu. I'm imagining they'd want to throw that in there.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't leave the island
Oh,
except
I can't
just
get them off
cycle
the
it.
island. So we basically you park your car and you can just take your golf cart everywhere you need to go on the island. So it's impossible to get Josh off the island unless it's a requirement. So I'm sure we would not be leaving the island, but we would hit up the local spots
We
and
have a cool concert spot here on the
Mhm.
island. Like you look at the ocean as you're watching the bands. It's really cool. So it's just we love everything about, Isle of Palms. So I mean it would be an Isle of Palms day.
Yeah, so
How
we
big is
basically
the island?
So it's probably a couple
we
miles
have
long, but it's
yeah, there's
yeah.
the population is around 5,000 in the that are permanent residents, and then it grows in the off season or in the summer season.
I
We're
can
kind of
see, yeah.
split a third between permanent residents, second homes, and then vacation rentals.
Hmm. Sounds like a tight-knit little community you got there.
Yeah,
It
we
is.
love
It's
it.
a small town that gets big, and it gets big from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and then it's a small town again.
Hmm. So, one last question for you. How can listeners get in touch with you to buy property, learn more, collaborate on a project? What's the best way to get in touch?
They can go to iop.homes or our handle for social media is at Charleston Estates. So either way.
All right. Well, did you guys have any questions for me?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd say that's a wrap on another episode of Behind the Print. Thank you to our listeners for joining us as we explored the artistry and innovation of the printing world. Remember, having a strong vision, building the right strategy, and using tools like print to amplify your message will make your brand stand out from the crowd. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to get your sample pack today from printingcenterusa.com and share it with your fellow business enthusiasts. Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying, and remember, there's always more to discover behind the print.